I think we're live. We click the go live on Instagram and see if that we'll go live everywhere. Turn my speakers down. Can everybody hear me? That's what I want to know. Wait for some people to filter in since this is an unscheduled live stream. Turn up my speakers and see if it's working. Maybe tweet since this. Do you have access to my Twitter over there? Would you tweet out that I'm doing this? Brittany Page. Brendan McGovern. Woo indeed. Woo indeed. So I guess I'll just get started here. I'm sure many of you know because the internet has exploded. It has been absolutely devastated and destroyed with the news that Donald Trump has been found guilty on all 34 felony counts involved in his first, not only first, criminal trial. Big day. In fact, I brought a prop. Not really a prop. It's a toast. We're going to toast to this sad day for American jurisprudence. So many people out there said that nothing's going to happen. There will never be consequence. He will never be held accountable. He'll never be found guilty because of the absolute history of a two-tiered justice system, maybe 3 or 4-tiered justice system in the United States. Long ago, I got rid of that idea in my head. I've kind of shifted my tone and tenor, shifted my opinion about this, and thought, there's a pretty good chance he's going to be held accountable, and here we are. Now, 2 things I want to say before we get to questions here. 2 things I want to say. One is we don't know what the sentence is going to be yet. Some legal experts, I'm not a legal expert, some legal experts say that they think this will likely only result in probation of some kind. I wouldn't be happy with that, but also I don't know that that sounds right to me. It seems to me that there will be some kind of other punitive arrangement, whether that be house arrest or whatever, but I would not be satisfied with only probation, whether supervised or unsupervised. This is 34 felony counts against him. And the second thing that I want to admonish everybody on is while this is monumental and this is historic and this is huge, to use a Donald Trump phrase, this isn't the most important thing. The election is what is most important. November is what is most important. Making certain that Donald Trump does not have an opportunity to divide America any further and send us into a sprawling autocracy of fascism, where he can extricate himself from trouble because he is the president of the United States. So he cannot further oppress marginalized groups in this country, where he can further strip away women's bodily autonomy and reproduction rights. That's what's most important. Anyway, I guess here's to you, audience, and by extension, America. Here's to you. I do have a TV here, seeing the motorcade leave the courthouse. There's a large crowd, medium to large crowd outside on the street. It's a good day. Anyway, what are we thinking? Do we have some questions? We can line them up. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Oh, it's the question's up. Fascist DeSantis will let a convicted felon vote in Florida. Wow, what a great question. Actually, the law in Florida, unless they change it, Florida is known and prone to change the law to help Republicans, DeSantis in particular. There was a law on the books that a governor for the state, if he was going to run for president, this was a law for Democrats, had to resign the governorship. That got changed for Ron DeSantis specifically so he could run for president. So we don't know. But the law in Florida mirrors the law of the jurisdiction in which the conviction took place. So if Donald Trump, if Donald Trump was just convicted in New York only removes the right to vote, strips away the right to vote, postpones the right to vote, if you will, if there is a sentence of incarceration, if the sentence involves jail time. Because there might not be jail time, he might be able to vote in this election. If, though, the sentence, which is scheduled to take place on July 11th of this year, in just a couple of months, if it does involve jail time, he won't be able to vote in Florida based on Florida law as it is right now. Now, that's kind of a loose and general interpretation or a reciting of the law. I'll look into it a little bit further and we'll talk about it in the coming days. But there is still a very good chance he will not be able to vote for himself. That's one fewer vote for Donald Trump. Actually, the lovely, talented, and scholarly Brittany Page provided me with some notes. Let me read these. This is from PolitiFact. The Florida Department of State website states that a, quote, a felony conviction in another state makes a person ineligible to vote in Florida only if the conviction would make that person ineligible to vote in the state where the person was convicted. That's a better way, a more succinct way of saying what I just said. New York restores the right to vote for a person convicted of a felony upon release from incarceration. If convicted felons are not incarcerated, they are eligible to vote. What I said, but far more intelligently written. So Army Boy 057, thank you for your comment. Not a question, but it did lead me to talk about some important things. Cookie Fatty 666. Oh, that's not on the screen, but it will be. Will the verdict, well, let me read this first, then we'll get to that. Been a member for 46 months, a channel member. Thank you very much, Cookie Fatty 666. I love the usernames. I guess if you were to become a channel member right now, it would show up, or a super chat. All that shows up. So Ace here says, just curious, but what if it was anyone else who was found guilty? Would they be sent to prison? Well, we don't know yet. If anyone else was found guilty, you would think that 34 felony counts wouldn't be met with a slap on the wrist like probation, whether supervised or unsupervised. But there are a lot of people who take that into consideration, that he's the former president of the United States, and they don't want to set the precedent. But, you know, we're in a place in American history, especially with this case, especially with this ex-president, that precedent doesn't really matter anymore, that we're setting new precedent as we go through. But I would be curious what you guys think. Again, Cookie Fatty 666, member, channel member for 46 months. That's remarkable. 46 months, almost 4 years. Will this verdict embolden the other prosecutors? I think so. This is actually something that I've been thinking about. And it especially relates, even today, the story that I talked about the tape of Donald Trump saying the N-word on the set of The Apprentice about an Apprentice contestant, that I think because one person came out because the NDA expired, and this applies to this as well, I think they see a path forward to victory. I think that prosecutors see a path forward, that this is possible and the dam's going to open. We already have several other cases all across the country, not just the ones that have been publicized that are out there right now. There's a case moving forward in Arizona. There's a case moving forward in Michigan. And I believe that there is a case, however premature right now, that's developing in Wisconsin. Donald Trump, it's not a good day for Donald Trump. I mean, that's stating the obvious, but it's going to get a lot worse the closer we get to the election. And not just for Donald Trump. I think it's going to get a lot worse for the country and the safety and security of the nation based on the unhinged nature that we've witnessed, that has been demonstrated by MAGA Americans all over the place. I think there's going to be likely chaos in the wake of this particular verdict as well. I hope that the authorities in New York are standing by to provide security for the members of the jury, for the judge and the court staff and the prosecution team. It's a serious, serious matter. Thank you, Cookie Fatty 666, for your 46 months of support, being a channel member. I appreciate it. Ohms. It's an electric joke, I think. Member for 40 months. Thank you very much. And yes, it is a very great day for America. Should we cheers again? Should we toast again? Scott Bryant, $2 to say, I am so happy for our country. So am I. So am I. I'm happy not just for the country, though. I'm happy that we're starting to see that you're not completely immune from consequence because you're rich, because you're white, because you have access to power, because you have a former presidency on your resume or your CV. I'm very happy for that. This should give people some semblance of security, knowing that things, even incrementally, are changing for the better. Not quick enough, not enough change, but enough that we're seeing history being made watching CNN over the shoulder of the camera right now. Thank you, Scott, for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Sally Port just became a YouTube channel member. I'll toast to that. Justin Pitcock, the party of law and order is now running a convicted felon for president. Yeah, the irony I don't think is lost on anybody, Justin. It is something I tweeted a few minutes ago that I just tweeted like Donald Trump would do, all caps, law and order said. And I mean, obviously there's a joke there that the irony is lost on the Republican Party that they claim to be the party of law and order. Donald Trump at the 2016 Republican National Convention said, I alone can fix it. We are the party of law and order. We need to clean up the streets. He wants to summarily execute people suspected of shoplifting, allow police that kind of latitude and power to just skip the arraignment phase, skip the arrest phase, skip the indictment phase, skip the charges, skip the trial, skip the jury, skip sentencing, and just murder them because you suspect they shoplifted. This is the Republicans' twisted and warped view of what law and order is, and they view this actual justice that just took place. They view this as a travesty of justice, a miscarriage of justice. When a guy who has lived his entire life outside of consequence, legal or otherwise, is finally being treated like any one of us would be treated. That is a good day for America. And the party of law and order is running scared, certainly running scared, because this, even if this skims off just a few votes, just a few scant percentage across the disparate, impactful states, you know, the Arizonas, the Wisconsins, the Minnesotas, the North Carolinas, the Georgias, even if it's just a few percent, that's all that it's going to need for Joe Biden to win this and move us forward into a direction of progress. Thank you, Justin. Dana T or Dana T. I only know one Dana. That's Dana Bash on CNN. So we'll just go with Dana. Gifted 10 Jesse Dollamore memberships. I didn't even know that was a thing. Holy shit. Dana, thank you very much. I don't even know how those get given out. That's amazing. Cindy Bettendorf. Cindy Bettendorf became a YouTube channel member. Thank you. Listen, Gene Hov, DVM, became a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much. I can't impress upon you enough just how much channel memberships help. One of the things that I don't talk about very often at the end of videos when I prattle off the whole thing that I say is one of the reasons it's so important is that I don't have to worry about talking about things that are traditionally demonetized on YouTube if people give on YouTube channel memberships, because that is guaranteed revenue that I don't have to like dance around with YouTube playing the game. And if they demonetize, they demonetize because I have your support. I appreciate it very, very much. Shirley Burton became a YouTube channel member. Thank you, Shirley. Your membership is very much appreciated. Hina, channel membership. Margaret Sinclair, channel membership. Super chat, Old Soul. Marjorie Taylor Greene just posted an upside down flag. Of course she did. MAGA is about to be unhinged times 10 Everybody, please stay safe. I would admonish everybody of that as well. Not everybody's in the position that I am. Fortunately for you, that you're not, to have the ire of MAGA world upon you and have violent, venomous death threats sent your way. But still, you live in a community of people that is like any other community. You have people who disagree with you. I would be careful online in the following weeks. Just take care of yourself. Make sure that you're not posting things that you're not prepared to handle the consequences that might come, that are unjustified. Any violence in these kinds of matters is unjustified, but make sure you take care of yourself. Old soul, that's a very wise thought from a very old soul. Jason Ray, $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. So isn't Don barred from voting in Florida as a felon? I just covered that. If he's incarcerated in New York, he won't be able to vote in Florida until the incarceration sentence has been fulfilled, until it's been run its course. Taco gifted 1 Jesse Dollamore channel membership. That is awesome. I have to look into that. What the hell is that? Darth Treyas, $2 super chat. Justice at last. You are communicating a sentiment that is felt by millions and millions of Americans right now, all across the country, and I join you in it. Oh yeah, let me do that. So let me read some polling from PBS here. As a jury deliberates on former president's criminal hush money charges in New York, 2 in 3 registered U.S. voters say a guilty verdict would have no effect on whom they plan to vote for in the presidential election, according to this NPR Marist poll. Overall, 67% of voters said a conviction would make no difference for them in November, including 74% of independents. That's a significantly higher number than the percentage of either Republicans or Democrats who said it wouldn't change their vote. There's one more paragraph here, but let me say this. People get angry when they see that it wouldn't change someone's vote whether or not he was convicted, because they just think it, like a Republican, it doesn't matter to me if he's convicted, I'm still going to vote for him. But if I was asked that question, and I presume if you were asked that question, you would answer it the same way. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump is convicted of a felony. You're not going to vote for him anyway. It's not going to change your vote. It's kind of a neutral question that doesn't appear that way, depending on how you're thinking about it. This final paragraph here, in fact, 25% of Republicans said they would be even more likely to vote for Trump if he were found guilty by a jury, while 27% of Democrats said it would be less likely to vote for him, a split that underscores hardened partisan perspectives on a candidate for Trump. Well, that's a little bit of a misnomer, I guess, because a Republican would be more likely to vote for him, they're already so deeply in the tank, nothing's going to sway them. So it's just skewing the poll, as far as I'm concerned. Roger Harris, member for 40 months. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Will this in any way help get rid of Judge Cannon? No, this isn't going to have any bearing on Judge Eileen Cannon's, the travesty that she's running, the farce that she's running interference for Donald Trump. That's her personal, professional job. This won't have any bearing on that, but Jack Smith, and they have certain legal maneuvers that are working through the appellate division to maybe hold her accountable. And maybe if everything works out right, if all the notches on the belt get filled, she might get removed by an appellate court. It's an outside chance, but there is a slim possibility of it. So this, no, not going to have any effect, but maybe public opinion could pressure. I don't know. She doesn't seem very moored in professionalism or ethics. Thank you for being a channel member for 40 months. I appreciate it. Rod Grandison, do you think that any of his antics in the coming days will factor into Judge Merchan's sentencing? No, and nor should it. The judge is sentencing Donald Trump for the activities that he's been convicted of, not for behavior after that. It's not a situation where if he did something bad but got away with it, he's convicted for something later, and then like, well, that makes up for him getting off of it earlier. That's not the way it should work, and that's certainly not the way it works here. And Judge Merchan, witnessing his behavior and the way he's composed himself over the course of these weeks of this trial, it really does give me hope that there is some decent individuals in the justice system who work professionally and dispassionately, and he's certainly one of them. So I don't think it's going to, any of Donald Trump's nonsense, any of his attacks, any of his rhetoric, I don't think it's going to impact, for good or bad, the sentence. Great question. Matt Bowman, Super Chat, thank you very much. Jesse, man, thank you to you and Brittany for always speaking out. Independent journalism at its finest. Cheers. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've really been kind of on a jag talking about independent media lately, because the closer we get to the election, for some reason, I'm seeing more and more headlines, more and more coverage that outrages me in mainstream media. I do think that what I do is important. I hope everybody thinks what they do is important. But when I'm surrounded by people in my particular genre on YouTube, it makes me realize just how important our voices and our reach is. Because if people are just to read the New York Times, if they're just to read the Washington Post, and the failure time after time, day after day, week after week that take place in their coverage, it just cements to me what kind of a job we all have to adhere to the truth and talk about things that matter. I guess really the only caveat there is my job I fail at oftentimes because topics that are so important don't get the clicks. I don't know if I'm not titling the videos well enough, but right now we're facing a situation where a Supreme Court justice is flying insurrection symbols in front of their house and then lying about it when the press comes. And then the press comes and doesn't report on it. And those videos, they're just not getting clicked on. So I would say this: if you see a video and you might already have the information, click on that video and let it play, mute it, whatever, because it signals to you, and not even mine, I'm talking about other people. Click on those videos and make sure you watch them in their entirety, because it signals to YouTube, this is something people want to watch. It's not always that you decided you didn't want to watch it, even though it's important. It's YouTube not deciding to disseminate that, to distribute that, to recommend that content to other viewers. So thank you. I appreciate it. And I agree. Independent journalism or independent media, I don't know about that term journalist for me. It's very important. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Rob Bennett, can a convicted felon get a security clearance? Well, no, normally no. It is a little different with President of the United States because he is it's an elected position, and the people decide. And then the President of the United States can declassify highly sensitive, top secret information at a whim whenever he or she wants. A president can force security clearances to go into effect for people who are not qualified, not capable, not worthy of those clearances, as was the case with Jared Kushner. I don't know. It's never been outlined, as far as I understand, why exactly the intelligence community and the FBI believed he wasn't eligible for a security clearance that Donald Trump ultimately did grant him as president of the United States. But certain rules, as we've learned time and time again, don't apply to the president of the United States. Donald Trump has been given a pass on many things because he was president. Things that would land anybody else in jail, he got away with. So, great question. Something to look forward to as we get closer to the election. Don't know how to say that. Is that a moth? Is that a cicada? A butterfly? I don't know. Gifted $10 more memberships. Seriously, you're forcing me to look into what this is. I'm sure YouTube has sent me an email time or two that I just ignored. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. It really does help us do what we do. Pepper Ann became a YouTube channel member. Thank you, Pepper Ann. Cookie Fatty 666 gifted 5 channel memberships. Maybe I should live stream more often.
I think people are claiming them in real time.
Is that right? People are claiming them in real time. I guess that's how it works. I don't know. Yeah, somebody explain it. I can't do it in real time. Kalina's agility partner, $5. Is that a super chat? What is that? All right. I'm voting for the guy.
Know more about YouTube.
I know I should know more about YouTube. I'm voting for the guy who is not a convicted felon. Thumbs up if you're with me. Get 10 others to vote blue with you in November. 34,445. I'm not smart enough to figure out what that code is. Let me say this. This is something that I talk about quite a bit. And it is, you have an impact that you don't think you have. If you're able to convince 10 people, if you're able to convince 5 people, and you convince those 5 people to then convince other people to vote, you can amplify your impact at the polls. As much as Republicans talk about voter fraud, it's only because they don't have the reach or the grasp of exactly how much ground they can cover with grassroots marketing, if you will. It's relationships that are going to make this election for Joe Biden and for the country. And we have to get behind it. This is great advice from Kalina's agility partner. Carl Todd, wait till July for sentence. July 11th is the date that I've heard, that I've read, and it is going to be covered more frenetically than this particular day was, because of the fact that we know what's coming, that it's going to be a sentence. I can tell you this, I would not want to be Judge Juan Merchan on that day, in the weeks leading up to that day, and making this momentous decision, this monumental and historical decision. But I trust that he'll do the right thing based on his behavior up to this point. But we have no choice but to wait. Cindy Bettendorf, thank you for all your work. Fearful for Judge Merchan, the jury, and the DA's office. Yeah, I have some trepidation about it too. I think that the authorities in this respect, we have enough knowledge of Donald Trump and his tactics and the unhinged nature of MAGA world that they're going to do the right thing. Even if it's out of step with what they've done in the past, I think that there's going to be exceptions made to make certain that the jurors are safe, that the judge and his family and the court staff's family are safe. I just, maybe I'm just an evergreen optimist in this way, but I have faith in the system that they're going to take care of these people. Margaret Sinclair, Scotland salutes the USA. Fantastic. I'm actually going to be in Scotland in the end of June. The end of June into July, I will be in Scotland for a week. And I have a surprise guest host who'll be hosting for that entire week that you will be excited about. We'll tease it there. And I guess we'll talk about it in subsequent videos. I'm hoping to have him on as a guest, and we'll talk about it, and then you'll have him for a week. It's going to be amazing. You just wait and see. Maybe I'll bump into you on the street, Margaret Sinclair. Stephanie Brooks has become a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much, Stephanie Brooks. M. Savoy has become a YouTube channel member. What a red letter day for the channel. I appreciate it. I would only appreciate it more if someone who may or may not be in the room were to turn the air conditioning down. That would be awesome. Thank you, M. Savoy. I appreciate it. Listen, it cannot be overstated just how much your $2 means when it's compounded on by, others in the audience. It's a big, big deal. Thank you. Luca Battaglia. Hi, Jesse. I'm Luca from Italy. Mr. Trump guilty. Yes, Mr. Not a term of endearment or respect. He's Mr. Trump. Guilty. 34 counts. It's a great reminder. It does feel, it feels great just rolling off the tongue. Convicted felon Donald Trump. 34 felony count convicted criminal Donald Trump. We have a felon, a multiple felon, convicted felon running for president as a Republican right now. Bananas. Man. Oh, death comes ripping. These are reading some of these screen names are like reading personalized license plates, which I'm not good at either. So became a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much. That is fantastic. Wonder Woman's $4.99 super chat. If a person can't join the military as a felon, how can he be the commander in chief? It is a great question. And it just, I guess the answer comes down to how the Constitution regulates who runs for president, what the qualifications are. States, the nation itself is reticent to add, well, it's just not appropriate to add layers of complexity and qualification onto who can run for office, who can vote in elections, because our Constitution governs all of that. And you start adding on, it becomes unconstitutional. So we either need to amend the Constitution, which I think there's many, many things we could do to amend the Constitution. Maybe that's a great video to do some research on and script out what I believe some constitutional amendments should be. But until we do that, we just have to kind of abide by the rules as they are. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it very, very much. Bippy, is he still under gag order for the case? I don't know, but it would seem logical to me that now that the verdict has been given, that he's not under a gag order, but the gag order might, because I haven't read it, it's a long document, it might expire after sentencing. I don't know. I will say this, in his statement outside the courtroom, he didn't attack anyone that he wasn't supposed to attack hours before, so maybe it is still in place, but I don't know. That's a question for someone much smarter. Let's see, though. This is not directly related, but it may give you some flavor here. Says Trump will be sentenced 4 days before the Republican National Convention, where he will be officially become his party's nominee for the 2024 election. That's July 11th is the sentencing. After becoming a convicted felon on all 34 counts, Trump tells the cameras the real verdict will come on November 5th. And had I had time, we didn't have time. We just came downstairs to the studio. Had I had time, I would have prepared that clip. I would have gotten it to play it right now. He is beside himself. I heard journalists who were in the court recount the moment when Donald Trump heard he was a 34-time convicted felon. And they said he went from his normal pale skin tone to bright red and freakishly angry. So he's not having a good day. This is not a good day for Donald Trump. And we should all, I guess, rejoice in that. Look, I don't want to rejoice or be happy about Schadenfreude or whatever. But let me tell you something. When you've done as much damage to the United States as Donald Trump has, when you've done as much damage to the world as Donald Trump has, I think it's appropriate. I certainly don't think it's inappropriate to rejoice when they finally get consequence. Debbie Joy, your hatefulness is showing. Well, I think I just answered that. Debbie Joy. Am I hateful? Do I hate justice? Do I hate the Constitution? Is that hateful? Or is finally someone being held accountable for their myriad crimes? Debbie Joy, I would ask you that. I would say your blind eye is showing. Your blind eye to criminality is showing. Your blind eye to a lack of patriotism on your part is showing. But who am I? Windy City Liz, thank you to the jury. Yeah, thank you for the jury. Look, if you paid attention at all to this trial, especially if you're out there, Debbie Joy or whatever your name was, you have to acknowledge, you don't have to because, MAGA world is filled with morons, but it would seem to me unavoidable to acknowledge that the jury did their due diligence. They asked for certain transcripts of testimony. They wanted the jury instructions read back to them. It wasn't like they went back into the room and then, all right, he's guilty. It took them over the course of 2 days, 11 solid hours of deliberating to come to this verdict. They did their jobs. And thank you for that. Listen, I wasn't sequestered on my federal grand jury, but it is an imposition. It is not It's an inconvenience to be on a jury, but it is our duty as Americans to ensure a properly working judicial system to serve on juries. Don't do like so many people do and try to get out of jury duty. Serve. Do your duty as a citizen. Janine, is that Janine or Jeannie? I think that's Jeannie. Member for 17 months. Thank you for being a channel member. Congrats to accountability. Thanks for being my favorite flavor of the news. Do you think he'll actually get jail time? It's going to be a cop-out answer you're not going to like. I've said it earlier. I think it's possible he's going to get jail time. I hope that he'll get jail time. I think listen, if you're forcing me to answer, and I feel forced because I don't like giving politician answers, I think it's more likely than not that he receives some kind of jail sentence, even if it's like a home confinement kind of a bullshit sentence. I think it's more likely than not. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. You can hold me accountable. Digital diarrhea, I think is what that's supposed to be. Thank you, Brittany, for picking that one. Great. Fantastic. $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Solemnly. Thank you. Sentencing effect campaign travel. Look, Donald Trump doesn't have some robust campaign schedule right now. July 11th is a long way away. It's the next week is the Republican National Convention. So we'll see if it's going to impact him. But listen, if you don't want to be restricted and required to be in certain places at certain times, don't commit crimes. It's just that easy. If you don't want to be hauled before a court to sit there for weeks during a trial, don't commit the crimes that initiate the investigation, that initiate the charges, and that initiate the trial. It's really that simple. And thank you, Digital Diarrhea, for the super chat. Catherine Hansen, this is so exciting and such a relief. It really is. I got texted by a few people today when it was happening, and they were like, holy shit. And I, to one of them, I said, I'm actually a little stunned. And I expected this to be the result. It is what I expected. But still, to hear that a former president of the United States of America just went through a criminal trial facing 34 felony counts and was found guilty by unanimous jury on all 34 counts, it is stunning. It really, really is. And it is a relief. And it is exciting. M. Savoy, $5. Thank you very much. You can purchase 1-month memberships and YouTube will randomly give them to people in the chat. Oh, they're randomly given. You are the first I've subscribed to. Keep it up. Thank you. That's amazing. I appreciate that. Being the first is, I don't know, makes me feel good. It's great. That Opal guy, thanks for the gift sub at John Lithium. Yeah, that's awesome that people can gift YouTube channel memberships. So great. Dorky Von Munch Munch. You kind of look like a Dorky Von Munch Munch, huh? Became a YouTube channel member. Fantastic. I think I look like a Dorky Von Munch Munch. 34 for 45. 34 convictions for the 45th president of the United States. I get it. All right. 34 for 45. Again, I'm not a code breaker. That's not what I did in the Marine Corps. I wasn't a cryptological whatever. I was a dum-dum. Brenda Raven became a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much, Brenda Raven. Personal thank you. We appreciate it very much. It absolutely helps keep the lights on. It's a big deal. Shovelhead Steve, motorcycle rider, I guess. $2 super chat. I did everything right and they convicted me. Oh, I wish I had. I think that's a Pac-Man drop. Isn't that a Pac-Man drop, Brittany? Anyway, I think that is. I should get some drops on the board. I don't have a bunch. I got my crickets, but I have the Rudy still on the board. Oh, nope, they got moved. Michael Whaley, nice suit jacket, Jesse. Thank you very much. I've lost so much stinking weight that I need to get some stuff tailored. It's almost like it's double-breasted now. Sean Ramos, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate it. Greetings from Tijuana. Just wanted to show my support. Lock racist Trump up. I love the support. I've been to Tijuana many, many times. And I agree with the sentiment of locking the racist Trump up. Not necessarily locking him up for being racist, but, just like it's the cherry on top that a racist is going to face some consequence. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate the super chat very much. Readable super sticker, $2.99. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. What a celebration we're having together. I wish I could even see what is happening. And I don't even know how many people are in. I don't have that window open. We did it so hastily. I didn't have all my windows open to be able to check everything. Richard Cochran, 50 pounds, trying to get the monetary designator correct. Jesse, a day to celebrate. Thank you for your work over these difficult times. I'm not American, born and raised in Scotland. I'll be there next month. But you have made sure that Trump's sins were not forgotten. Yeah, look, obviously there's a large enough media complex out there that if I wasn't here, it's not like people wouldn't be talking about this. But the more voices, the better. The more people speaking truth to power, the better. And I feel humbled. It's not just a turn of phrase. I do feel humbled and lucky to be in the position that I am to have the audience I have, to talk about these important things on a daily basis. It's not lost on me. And thank you so much for the 50 pounds. And with the exchange rate, that's more than $50. So, man, Richard, you are awesome and you are appreciated. Tiani Kane, where's Brittany? She needs to be there with you, Jesse. We want Brittany. We want Brittany. We want Brittany. T. She's right over here running the other machine, putting the comments up. It would be weird if she was just here next to me doing the work and not participating, because you really need somebody full time to run these things. I can't do it just by myself, not smart enough, not skilled enough. And she's over there. But we appreciate the sentiment that you want Brittany.
Hi.
Go ahead, one more time.
Hi.
Gone Girl. Congratulations, America, from a Canadian who has much family there. I'm so worried about your future, but this is a good start. Keep it up at election time. This is an awesome sentiment, not just we're thinking of you and we're appreciating, but that very thing, that people are worried about their families here and they're worried about the future, but this being a good start is huge. It's real. It's valid. That we are in danger in America. We've fallen asleep. We've been lulled to sleep by the security of our past and how we've had one election after the other with power being handed down peacefully with no issue. Even in 2000, when the election was stolen from Al Gore by the Supreme Court, even that was a time where it was done peacefully. Al Gore did the noble and gracious thing and just conceded the race that he had won. But it's not that way. We are in danger of losing our democracy, where violent mobs attack the Capitol. I mean, I talk about it every single day. I'm losing ways to talk about it in a unique or different kind of manner, but it's serious. It will be a transformatively different, worse country where democracy ends if Republicans gain control of this election. Thanks for your concern. Lovely Canadians. Ciara Rain Cloud, $5 super chat from a disabled former U.S. Navy corpsman to a Marine. We got the bastard devil dog. We got him. I love me some corpsmen. The Marine Corps, for those of you who don't know, get a little lesson here. The Marine Corps doesn't have medical units. There are no medics in the Marine Corps. We rely upon the faithful service of Navy medics, or corpsmen they're called, to take care of us out in the field, in combat. We have their FMF, I think that's probably what they're still called, FMF corpsmen, who are assigned to Marine Corps units, and they're doc. They keep us replete with grunt candy, which is just 500 tabs of Motrin. Oh, you broke your ankle? Here's some Motrin. They do more than that, but they'll get the joke. And thank you for the super chat. All right. Well, let's go. I have a clock here so I can see. Let's go 5 more minutes. It is 6:29. We'll go to 6:35, and then I'll pull the plug on this because I've got a podcast to record, a bunch of other stuff to do tonight. I got to eat some food, finish my drink. What would Regina Phalange do? Gifted 5 channel memberships. Amazing. Moving. Really, it's speechless. I am talking like Yoda now. Good times. Eileen Smith, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. What is your beverage tonight? And I don't know what that last word is. I'm assuming it means cheers or something. I'm guessing just from context. Woodford Reserve, just bourbon. Maria W. Well, on my birthday, the sentencing, I hope he gets jail time. Well, early happy birthday. What a wonderful birthday gift that would be. Jail time for the former criminal president convicted on 34 felony counts. There could be no better birthday present than that, Maria. And I hope you get what you wish for. Dragon Zone. Jesse Dollamore, I tried forever to find you. I watched you in high school. I'm a sophomore in college now. Glad to be back after some years. Tried to find me. Watched you. Look, this, I mean, I already feel a little old, you know, survived cancer and all kinds of other nonsense. But having somebody who watched me in high school who's now a sophomore in I mean, oh, that's only a few years. That's what is that, 4 years? That is, well, I'm assuming sophomore to sophomore is 4 years. That's only 4 years, but still, it's, you know, you were a kid, now you're an adult. That's a big deal. Thank you very much, Dragon Zone. Glad you found me too. Disabled caps lock. First felon president. Oh, that, you know, that's an element I haven't thought about. Donald Trump loves to be the first, loves to be the most, loves to be the record setter, loves this. Oh, never been seen before. This is something the likes of which we've never seen. A president convicted of the felonies he committed. It's a big deal. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. Sequendo 43, Trump 2024. Well, listen, Sequendo 43, you're really moving the needle. You're changing hearts and minds with your post in this YouTube live stream. I don't know what to say. You've just decimated all of my arguments and all of the things that I've read and that I've said. You've just completely eviscerated the account of the producer on The Apprentice who outlined Donald Trump calling a contestant the N-word with your simple and powerful post. Trump 2024. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Richard Ash, €5. See, I'm getting the monetary designated right. €5 super chat. Ireland rejoices. Trump is right. The world is watching and laughing at him. This is a common refrain that Republicans always run with, that the world is laughing at us. The world is mocking us. They're mocking us, but not for the reasons Republicans think. It's because of Republicans and their lack of adherence to the rule of law, their lack of adherence to decency, their abject depravity is what causes the world to laugh at us. It's not because finally he's getting consequence. I think the world collectively has breathed a sigh of relief because of this. And thank you for the £5, Richard Ash. And we'll be across the body of water in Scotland. I keep talking about it because I'm excited. Haven't gone on vacation. I don't know when the last time went on vacation for any time at all. Jack Guilford, $5 super chat. Thanks for your hard work, for all of your work. I acted like it was hard. I acted like you said it was hard. It's not really that hard. It's super, super easy. Thanks for all your work. Listen, I appreciate it. It does take a lot, not to toot my own horn or be an asshole. But doing this is being a two-person operation, the lovely, talented, and scholarly Brittany Page and myself. It is a lot of work, and it's nice to be appreciated. Brian Smith, hey Jesse, what do you think would be an appropriate punishment? I don't know. I don't know what the sentencing guidelines there. I think that if he was to do 18 months in prison, it seems to be an appropriate amount of time, maybe even a little lenient on 34 felony counts. But what I would want to see is what other people convicted of this type of crime, this level of crime on this many counts, what they got. And maybe that's something to look into. I'm sure in the coming days, journalists will hunt that down and give us an idea of what he's facing. But good question. Great thing to look into. Lisa for Truth, $10 super chat. Thank you, Lisa for Truth. I'm for Truth too. I'm Jesse for Truth. Nice to meet you. Now let's defeat the MAGA machine. Yeah, this is just one step to that conclusion of defeating the MAGA machine. It is why I'm stunned that we are finally here. It's kind of a thing where you wait and you wait and you wait for the day to come, and then when the day finally does come, it's almost like you weren't ready for it. And that's kind of what I'm facing here. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I said 6:35. It's now 6:36. So I'm going to wrap it there. I love and appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, even the Trump 2024 douchebag, even the lady who was telling me I'm hateful. That's fine. I get it. Whatever. But the rest of you, keep tuning in. Keep standing for truth. Keep demanding that we have equality in our justice system, that no matter how powerful, no matter how connected, no matter how high and lofty a position you've had in the past, you still will face justice for your crimes. I love and appreciate you. I'm going to find my button to end here. I'll see you next time. It'll be tomorrow. And thank you all for the super chats. Thank you all for the channel memberships that you signed up for or that you gifted. It means a lot. You guys are awesome. I have the best audience in YouTube. Nobody can convince me otherwise. And we'll see you next time.